and welcome back to Helen's DigitALL Disruptors, St. Lucian Women for Innovation and Technological Change, brought to you by CWIL, St. Lucian National Chapter. And today I have a very exciting guest, Mrs. Gustave. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your name?
Okay, well, my name is Sheraline Gustave.
All right. And can you tell us a little bit about what you do for a living?
Okay. Well, currently I work as the Chief ICT Officer, attached to the Division of Public Sector Modernization within the Ministry of Public Service.
Right, so that makes you the T in STEM,
yes,
right?
Technology.
So could you tell me just a little bit about what that job entails? What are you responsible for? Okay. It sounds very exciting.
Okay. All right, so the Division of Public Sector Modernization is responsible. It provides leadership, coordination, monitoring of the modernization agenda of government. So that means everything from ICT, telecommunications, we look at the e-government initiatives, we look at process and change engineering within government as we adopt a digital technology.
Nice. So what exactly inspired you to get into that field? Like, can you tell me a little bit about your education journey, any qualifications?
Okay. Well, I kind of grew into it. Okay, so I remember young, I wanted to be a lawyer. But at the St. Joseph Convent, when I was in like Form 3, they were...
I went to convent.
Okay, yes. So at the St. Joseph, when I was in Form 3, they were introducing IT for the first time.
Okay.
And I remember going by the lab. I just found it very fascinating. I mean, computers have been around for a while, technology, but we were not really exposed to it. So it was my first experience, you know, and I was just like a kid in a candy store looking forward to it. And I just happened to be good at it. So I did it and I chose it for CXC. And like I said, I was just a natural. And I actually won the IT award for SJC in the year which I graduated.
Wow.
Right. So from there I went on to South Louis and I applied for a scholarship to Cuba. At that time there were scholarships to Cuba. And I was trying to decide in terms of what to do. I think at the time, you know, medicine was the popular thing. And somewhere along the line I saw in the options Informatica, which is actually what we call software engineering. And I said, okay, maybe I can explore that because, you know, I had just happened to like IT. Right. So I said maybe I could, so I went on to pursue my bachelor's degree in software engineering. And I came back. Since then I've done my master's in information systems management, as well as various other IT related courses.
Nice. So I know STEM is a very male-dominated field. Did you face any challenges during your education journey where maybe you got a little bit of pushback or you felt kind of like, you know, the odd one out? Like any challenges that came up during that whole journey to get where you are right now?
Well, I would say no. Actually, I mean, in Cuba there were quite a few females pursuing the same course. And since coming back, I must say, I think I've been one of the best ones because I have had a lot of support, especially from male persons. You do get I remember my first job, not my first job, but I was an IT manager at one of the resorts on island. And I remember the technicians and stuff persons would come to do stuff and they're asking for the IT. They would probably ask me, or they ask somebody, I'm here to see the IT manager. And you come out to them and they're like, yeah, I'm here to see the manager. I'm like, this is the manager.
Right.
So I think that you would get the original stares, you know, you would get these stares. But I think for the most part, you know, even now, persons would look, you know, just this week we had some persons doing work in the office. And I was going into my office and on my door I have the sign Chief ICT Officer. You know, they would look and then I come out and they would see as a Chief ICT Officer. You know, like so you do get there, but in terms of professionally, I can't say I've had any challenges per se for being a woman.
Well, I love to hear that because it's about time, right? So do you think I mean, I know you said that there isn't much pushback, but do you think that the industry has changed in any way since you first joined it?
Well, now you do see a lot more women going into technological fields. And for me, I think that before is the perception of what IT was. So when you think of IT, you would think of technical persons, you know, fixing computers, getting dirty, that kind of thing. But I think that now persons have come to see that technology is much more than just that technical aspect. You know, there's a systems aspect, there are different aspects of IT, and I think that persons now have come to understand that everybody has their, you know, their role within that. So I think there's more appreciation, but again, I think that still as a woman, you do have to ensure that you remain at the top of your game, kind of thing.
Right.
You know, to ensure that when you speak, persons can actually respect what you say, kind of thing. So there's always that pressure.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, when I went to convent, majority of the girls opted to do IT. Like we have, and even now, so I taught there for a little while, you have classes just filled with girls. So looking back on looking at your career, what you've been through, where you are now, and where you hope to go, do you think that there's anything you can do to help break that bias, that gender bias in your current field of work?
I think opportunities such as this one, and even, I mean, I've had lots of opportunities along the way where I've had to go to schools, you know, different programs where you have young persons, etc., who want to, they want to know, you know, what's it all about. I think that these opportunities to expose, you know, persons in certain careers, or persons who have that kind of background, it helps quite a bit. I facilitate with UE in various IT related subjects, and you always you get that, you know, feedback from the students. You know, they're happy. Lots of persons, even at that level, they wish to go into IT, but they do not understand, like I said, the variety, you know, the diversity within the ICT sector. So they're always happy to get somebody who has had various experiences, various sectors, and see how, you know, how they too can do it. So I think that's definitely more in terms of that outreach to young females and persons to let them know what's, you know, what it's all about, and that if I could do it, then they can do it as well.
Okay, so what leadership advice would you give young women who are currently trying to pursue a career in STEM, who look up to you and are hoping to accomplish the same things you have?
For me, I would tell them to find your niche. You know, again, like I said, it's a wide area. You know, take time to find out all of the different careers that exist. Pursue, you know, find your passion. And once you find your passion, then it makes it easy.
Right.
A lot of young persons, I guess, their main focus sometimes is always on money. And it's not always about money. I remember when I started, I was, my first degree, I taught at a secondary school IT for a while. And so I sat back and I said, you know, I spent so many years, you know, getting my qualification. I didn't need to have a bachelor's degree to teach IT. And I got a job at a hotel as an IT manager. But I had no IT, I didn't have the experience. So the gentleman who hired me, he said, you know what, he likes my attitude, you know, and he wants to give me an opportunity, but I lack the experience. And he said, I'm going to give you 1 year in which to prove yourself. And during that year, I mean, I worked the hardest. And I left, I was an IT manager, but I was making much less money than I was as a teacher. But for me, I wanted more. You know, so it's about finding what you want to do, not focusing on the money, but going after it. And during that year, I worked the hardest I ever worked. And at the end of the year, my salary almost doubled, you know, because I had proven myself. So for me, like I said, it's just work hard. Work hard. We know that, of course, we always have, people don't say it, but there's always that perception that as a woman, can she do it?
Right.
So you have to work harder to ensure that you do. But work harder, you know, find what you love, and then it just becomes natural.
I love that. And exactly what do you think can be done to promote gender equity in STEM?
Again, I think highlighting, you know, young women and persons who have accomplished certain you know, things within that area, it helps quite a bit. So a lot of times persons don't know what careers exist out there, especially in St. Lucia. Right. They don't know, they may hear posts and they don't know what it's about. You know, so I remember before people would do site visits, they would partner students with various organizations, they would have like those summer jobs. you know, we don't really see these things happening anymore. But I think, you know, where we can actually get persons to go out into the field, go spend a day, you know, partner with an organization, go there, that, you know, invite persons to come in, you know, career day and speak about. It gives the young ladies an opportunity to ask, you know, and to see what's out there, and then, you know, then maybe they too can aim for it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gustave. Before we end, is there anything that you'd like to say to our young women out there as International Women's Day approaches?
Again, like I said, believe in yourself, believe that you can do it. Focus, like I said, don't focus on the money. The money will come. You know, find what you love to do. Find, you know, go after your dreams, pursue it, and everything else comes afterwards.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Gustave, for joining us on Helen's DigitALL Disruptors, Lucian Women for Innovation and Technological Change. And I think you've left us with a lot to think about, and it's very inspiring. And we're very lucky that we have women like you to look up to now, where we can just go into STEM and we know, like, we have a chance.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.